boys and girls. Good morning. I just want to let you know that I miss you all very much. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep in touch with you, making some videos and reading some books to you, trying to do some fun stuff that you can do at home and that you can play with your brothers and sisters at home or with your moms or dads. Today, I'm going to start off by reading you one of our favorite stories. I know you love this story. So we're gonna go over this book, and this is the story about Corduroy. I know you all love this book very much, so that's why I picked this book for you. And we're gonna start with the normal stuff we would do. You can talk to your moms or dads or your brothers or sisters, and as we go over this, so you could discuss with them the way we used to discuss with your partner. We're gonna start off by the title of the book. And the title of the book is right here. You remember the title of the book is the name of the book. And you remember, what is this called right here? What part of the book? You're right, it's the front of the book. This is I think I heard you all say spine. The spine of the book. This is the back of the book. Do you remember what the author does? The author, you're right, writes a story, and the illustrator paints the pictures or takes the pictures for the story. So we're going to go ahead and start with a story called Corduroy, and it is by Don Freeman. He's the author. He also was the illustrator for this book, if you remember, Don Freeman. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all of the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers, buying all sorts of things. But no one ever seemed to want a small bear with green overalls. Do you remember what overalls are, boys and girls? Remember the overalls? They have a front cover on your chest, and they have straps that go over with little buttons on the side or little clips. I know Erin remembers that one because she had overalls on. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, that's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost a button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched him sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I lost a button," said Corduroy. "Tonight, I'm going to go see if I can find it." Later that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. Do you remember what an escalator is? Do you remember we talked about this? We talked about the escalator that can take you up and it can take you down. And see if you can talk to your brothers or sisters or mommy and tell them what an escalator is. If you talked about it and you told them what it was, remember they're moving stairs. So you just have to stand on the bottom or stand at the top and they'll move you up or it'll move you down. That's the escalator. We see them at stores. Could this be a mountain? He wondered. I've always wanted to climb a mountain, Have any of you ever seen a mountain? A mountain can be really, really high, or it can be medium size, but it's still a mountain. Some of them are so high, it looks like they touch the clouds, remember? Let's see what he found at the top of the stairs. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there before his eyes was the most amazing sight. Remember amazing? Can you tell your mommy or daddy what amazing is? Amazing, it's wonderful to him, right? Tables and chairs and sofas and rows of beds. This must be a palace, Corduroy gasped. I've always wanted to live in a palace. Look at him. He's looking around. Do you all think this is a palace? I think you all told me what this was before. This was a furniture department in a store where they sell all kinds of furniture. But he saw all the beds and all the furniture, and he thought it was a big, beautiful palace. He wandered around admiring the furniture. Do you remember what admiring was? When you told me about it, what it was, when you told me what you admired, something that you really like, or you're looking at it, you really admired that because it was beautiful. To him, even this bed is beautiful. He's admiring it. This must be a bed, he said. I've always wanted to sleep in a bed. Wow, he's never had a bed, boys and girls. You see how lucky you are? You have your beds. And he crawled up onto a large, thick mattress. All at once, he saw something small and round. Why, here's my button, he cried. And he tried to pick it up. Like all the other mattresses on the store, the buttons were all sewn on. Here he is trying to pull off his button. And he couldn't get it off because they're all sewn on there. It's just for decoration on the mattress. He yanked and he pulled with both paws until pop came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Do you remember when we were talking about yanked? That was one of our words, our vocabulary words. And remember when I was showing you what yank meant and we were laughing? If I, like the boys that would try to yank the girl's hair, and you all pretended to do it just for fun so that you all could see what it meant. So that was yanked. He yanked it, and when it came off, he fell down and he toppled over. And remember about toppled? When you can fall over? Do you remember when Miss V was up there doing a lesson and then she almost toppled over one of you? And I said, oh my goodness, I don't want to squish you. Remember that? That was funny. So bang, onto a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. He fell. Good thing I didn't fall with a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but someone was watching. The night watchman was making his rounds on the floor above. Do you remember what the night watchman was? Do you think he was watching the night? Talk to your sisters or your brothers and see what a night watchman is and tell them you know what it is. Do you remember? The night watchman is the security guard that takes care of the store at night to make sure everything's okay, there's no water leaks anywhere, or anything that happens that could mess up the toys or the furniture in there. So when this night watchman heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. Remember, we also talked about dashing because that's when some of you like to dash back and forth in this classroom. And we're like, stop dashing around, guys. So he dashed over really fast to see what it meant. So now, who in the world did that? He exclaimed. Somebody must be hiding here. He thinks there's a person in there. Let's see what he finds. You think there's a person in there? What is he going to find? Let's see. He flashed his light under and over the sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all. And there he saw two fuzzy ears. Can you see them? Hiding from under the covers. Uh-oh. What could that be? Let's see. Hello, he said. How did you get upstairs? The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Does he look happy, boys and girls? He doesn't look very happy. Look at him. See his little face? Let's see if something can make him happy now, because he's so sad. Corduroy was just waking up. Guess who walked in, boys and girls? Do you remember her from the beginning of the story? Who is she? Tell someone there with you who this little girl is and what she wanted. So when the first customers came into the store, he saw somebody walk in, and there, looking at him with a warm smile, was the same little girl that he had seen the day before. She found him. I'm Lisa, she said, and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home. Should I put him in a box for you? The sales lady asked. Oh, no, thank you, Lisa answered. And she carried Corduroy home in her arms. There she goes. She didn't even want to put him in a box or in a bag. She wanted to just hold him. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs in her family's apartment and straight to her own room. Look right here, boys and girls. There was not an escalator, so she had to run up the stairs. So she took him into her room. You think she's just going to go in there and put him on her bed? What do you think? Tell somebody, discuss with somebody. What do you think they're going to do? Let's see if she's going to just lay him on her bed. Corduroy blinked. Oh, we talked about blinking, right? Like this. When you move your eyes open and close really fast. He's blinking because he can't believe his eyes, what he's seeing there. When he went upstairs, he was so surprised. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed just for him. Well, the room was small. It was not like the palace. But this must be home, he said. I know, because I've always wanted a home. Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. I like you just the way you are, she said, but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened. So she put the strap on him and she sewed a little button on there for him. You must be a friend, said Corduroy. I've always wanted a friend. Me too, said Lisa. And she gave him a big old hug. The end. You see, he was not alone after all. He ended up having a friend buy him at the store and pick him up and fix his button. So he didn't have to be looking for a button anymore. Boys and girls, I hope you really liked the story about Corduroy. I know you loved it when we did it in class. That's why I picked this one. I want you to know I really, really miss you. And I want to give you all a big hug, so you can give yourself a big hug from me. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.